Hello, and happy Mental Health Monday. Today is I don't even know what week we're in for August, but it is wrapping up. And I know for many people, whether you are teachers, educators, students yourself, it is back to school time. People are starting this week mostly that I'm getting, but some also starting within the next few weeks. I know I start teaching right after Labor Day. So we are in the thick of back to school time. And I wanted to talk today about mindset because, in my experience, this time of year can get very hectic, right? But it's even more hectic and more concerning now with one, a pandemic that's happening, but then also two, with the myriad of things that are also going on within our country right now, within our world right now, right? So it's very hard, I think, to prioritize and think about mindset and understand mindset, or even what to do about your mindset when you are entering into this new back to school space, right? It can be very exhausting, it can be very confusing. Which are all natural and all make sense. So when we talk about mindset, and the reason why I do a lot of work with students on mindset is because we don't always recognize how our minds can be working against us, how our minds can be our greatest strength, but also our greatest weakness. So what does it look like for us to conquer our mindset? What does it mean when we talk about things relating to mindset? So today we're not going to be too long, just talking about the foundation and the understanding about mindset when we talk about mindset and mental health. And then next week we'll do some additional work talking about strategies. So one thing I like to educate students about when we talk about mindset is one, the connection between how the things that we think connect to how we feel, which connect to what we do, right? And so often that we know that we're doing certain things, right, that are exhibited by our behaviors and our actions, but we don't always do that backwards look into, well, what are the feelings I have connected to this action, and then what are the thoughts that I have that are connected to that feeling, right? And really understanding your mindset surrounding certain things. And it happens so quickly, right? A lot of the things that we think are automatic, and it doesn't require us to really do much work because we're just like, it's our naturally thoughts that are popping up into our brain, and that cycle happens so quickly. Like, you think something and then you feel something, so then you do something or you don't do something, right? So, and this is important because whether you are starting back school, beginning an internship, starting a new job, whatever it may be, making sure that you're going into these spaces with the right mindset are extremely important, right? So how are we taking some steps to analyze our mindset? Have I been thinking a lot of negative thoughts lately? Or every time I think about a class, a major, a teacher, right? What are the thoughts that I have that are surrounding that experience? And recognizing that and thinking of that is important. Is important. Because it will determine how we feel about certain stuff. It can let us whether be very motivated to like want to get something done, to continue moving, continue working, be excited, or it'll allow us to feel defeated and not want to do something or not be a part of something, right? So being able to combine that with the understanding and the thoughts surrounding back to school, starting new, whether it's a new grade, a new school, obviously new types of learning. I think almost everybody is diving into this virtual learning, remote learning space, which is difficult. I always say this to students, right, currently, that you are going through something that nobody has ever been through before, right? There's nobody that's like, oh, yeah, we went through a global pandemic and we had to shift to this remote learning and use all these platforms, right? Even the past global pandemics, they didn't have the type of technology we did, right? This just looked so different. So no one has been in your shoes. So that's hard, right? It's hard to be the first to do something. I think there's comfort in knowing that many people are doing this at the same time, but it doesn't take away from the difficulty of that experience, right? So when it comes to mindset, then we have to think and say, well, do I want to continue to complain and be upset, be pissed off, whatever it is? Or how can I alter the way that I'm thinking about this so that I can have a better experience? One of my favorite quotes is, we can't control everything that happens to us in life, but we can fundamentally transform our experience, right? And the reason why I love that quote so much, and I use it all the time, is because it talks about your mindset, right? We can't control the global pandemic that's happening right now. We can't control a lot of things that are happening around us, right? And I think when we can't control something, that can definitely fuel our anxiety. It can definitely make us nervous, make us unsure. But then we start to think, well, what can I control? And I can control how I'm thinking about the situation. I can control my mindset surrounding the situation. So how do we make that alter and shift our frame of thinking so that we can start conquering our mindset, so that we can start having a better grasp and understanding about what we are going through and how it's thereby being affected by the things that we're doing or experiencing around us, right? So I just wanted to preface the conversation and get your just brains, right, your minds moving and thinking about what's happening in there, right? Really taking the time to reflect, and whether it's good or bad, right? If you realize you've had like a really good mindset, like recognize that, note that, hold on to that, because it may not always be that way. But also, if you recognize your mindset has been off, jotting some of that down and trying to kind of figure out what's going on within my mindset. How can I start to make some changes within my space so that I can conquer my mindset? And that's what we're going to talk about next week, is some more concrete strategies for you guys so that you can work on your mindset to be more positive, to feel better, etc. But the first step is just self-awareness and becoming more aware as to where your mindset is. If you're comfortable with the current mindsets that you do have surrounding different things, right? Whether it's school, work, family, friends, blah, blah, blah. Or if you need some work, like try and figure out what space you're in before we can then talk about the strategy. So that's what today was just about, to get your wheels turning, to start doing that self-reflection and that analyzing as to your thoughts surrounding back to school time. And then next week, hop in and talk with us so we can talk about strategies. So that was today's Mental Health Monday, and I can't wait to see you next week. If you have already started school, great. Hope Zoom didn't mess you up. I know there's a huge Zoom outage today, and it messed up a lot of people. But I wish you guys a great school year, and I am here to help guide you with your mental health. I will talk to you next week.